What's going on, everybody? I'm Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And we're Nick and Joe. Welcome back to an all-new episode of the KDRAMA Club. Thank you for joining us. We are, of course, watching
Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha.
Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, the highlight of our weekend for the past few weeks. So if you've been enjoying the show and you're watching along, feel free to watch along with us. If you're new here, we're two friends. We like K-pop. And K-dramas. And we like making YouTube videos about those things.
Whenever we feel like it.
So if you like those things, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss a future video. Now, like we said, we've been watching Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, so if you want to go back, watch previous episodes, fantastic. We also have reacted to a couple other K-dramas. You should go back and watch those. But yes, here we are, episodes
11 and 12?
11 and 12.
Wow.
Crazy.
Coming down the home stretch here.
Coming down the home stretch, which is very interesting because I want to say things are not heating up in terms of intensity or in terms of I feel like anybody's at risk. Things are heating up in terms of things are prospering. There's love in the air. There's not a lot of conflict happening.
Yeah, we watched these two episodes and it's just like good vibes all around.
All good vibes. Yeah. There's some, I think these were meant to be the most lighthearted, humorous episodes so far.
For sure. I think that obviously everything starts with just like the relationship between Hyejin and Dushik, like that. Of course. And everything's just going really well, like too well.
Yes,
like,
because we left off and she confessed her love to him officially.
Exactly. And they kissed.
And he reciprocated.
And he confessed his love. And it just kind of like continues to move forward from there. And they like originally decide, oh, we're not going to like be officially dating yet because she wants to sort everything out with the director guy.
Yes.
And they both actually kind of like sort everything out, and it ends up with like no bad blood anywhere.
Right.
And he just is like, oh, I really like her and being friends with her, at the director, and he's like, oh, I also really like being friends with Dushik. So he just kind of is like, oh, be good to her, and then like and I feel like him and Dushik are going to be like even closer now than they were before, even though the director is a little bit jealous and like upset.
He's down bad.
He is down bad, but he is very like, he's just like a good person, I think, and very understanding.
This would be the running conflict now.
Yes.
But it's not really a love triangle. She goes to him, the director, and lays it all out there.
Yeah.
She's like, you know, I just like you as a friend.
Exactly.
And I like Dushik.
Yeah. And then there's this beginning of some sort of tension between the director and his writer.
Yes.
Which started in the last episodes, but in these episodes you really started to see to the point where she's not going to work with him anymore.
Right.
She took a job with another director. Yep. Because she probably feels like she's like sticking around waiting for something.
Him, and he doesn't see her as more than a coworker.
Yeah. So, and he still doesn't.
Yes.
But it's clear that he cares about her.
Yes.
And he like wants the best for her.
He's just blind.
Yeah, exactly. And he wants her around, but he's just blinded by his past and all these feelings that like have come back.
But Hyejin and Dushik approaching cringe levels throughout these two episodes.
I was like, ugh, it's just too much love. And it's just really funny because like she's like super like lovey and everything, and then she doesn't want people to know that they're dating. So the whole sequence where like anytime someone walks up, she like headbutted him.
That's
and, like,
the funniest joke in the show so far. I think.
I was like, what is happening?
That was the most laugh out loud moment the show has had so far. Where every time somebody like goes to interject, she like physically hurts him somehow. I think that's great.
And then she immediately texts him and was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was like, she is a crazy person.
Yes, I love that.
And it makes it even more funny that everybody in the town already knew.
Yes, so of course our town gossips who know everything about everything and have their whole group chat. I thought it was so interesting at the beginning of the episode when, okay, they're finally together and these people don't know, or we're led to believe they don't know.
It's the one time. That they don't already know.
But then once his phone went missing, I was like, something's up here, and I thought it was either going to go like a dark direction or a lighthearted direction, and it turns out they had the evidence on the phone the whole time, and they knew, and they were literally just messing with them, which props to them for just straight up messing with them. That was very funny. Like keeping them separate.
Yeah,
like,
their plan to make them like each other more. They're like, oh, we're going to like keep them apart, and then they'll really, really like each other.
I just like that the whole town is like coming together to like celebrate these two.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Very interesting dynamic they have.
It's like a big family though, you know?
Yeah,
and it's like she's like slowly becoming more and more like part of that whole like family situation they have in the town. Because obviously in the beginning she was like an outcast.
Right.
But as time has gone on, it's like
They're bringing her in.
Yeah, and she's like more and more important to like the kind of fabric of the neighborhood. And it's almost like I think by the end it will get to the point where like it won't feel the same without her.
Yeah.
And I think like maybe that, like we were saying before, that could be some kind of tension where like maybe she wants to go back to the city and bring him with her.
Yeah.
And then there's like this whole like conflict of like the town people are probably like, it's not going to be the same without you guys. And
that'll be sad.
That'll be like a kind of dynamic.
But last time she went to Seoul, she was missing Gongjin.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But there could always be, I feel like with these types of shows especially, there tends to be some sort of thing with the family, like, oh, her father gets sick or something, or like he has a family member, or well, I don't know, he really doesn't have any family, but she had like, it'll be like something that is like pulling them away.
Yes.
From even maybe from each other. But it doesn't seem like the show is doing that, because I feel like it has, there's been a lot of chances to kind of do that, and it never does.
Because the father's already approving. The town, they're so happy about it. She's not an outcast anymore. The love triangle is not really a thing anymore. They've established that. And like, there's just not major conflict. The one dark moment though that we had was Dushik like having this dream where he's like seeing himself and talking to himself and telling himself he doesn't deserve this.
Doesn't deserve happiness.
But we don't get anything else about that.
Yeah, because we saw him at the psychiatrist and like, oh, are you still having the dreams? And he was like, yes. But I think that will come more into play later. And there were two things that happened in these episodes that was showing Dushik kind of like thrown off a little bit. And the first one was when we went to the art gallery and she started asking like, oh, did you date a girl who was into art?
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, oh, and he like wouldn't talk about it. So I wonder if like it was probably like his first love. Like she had her first love which was the director, but they never like made a move. And maybe he had a first love that will like come into play later at some point that we don't know about.
Somebody comes back to town?
Exactly. Or a character that we already know that has not been like discussed about or something.
And there's one little hint of mystery too. When they go shopping in Seoul, he runs into somebody who says, oh, I haven't heard from you so long. You just up and disappeared so fast.
And it was one of his classmates from college.
Right.
And that was the second thing that like threw him off, because then they went out to eat after and he was like very like not focused. So I think that character is definitely going to come back into play later with something.
Right.
He like gave Dushik his business card and like told him to call him sometime. And Dushik was just very like thrown off about it. So I wonder like what kind of dynamic that has and what that's going to mean for later, because he has that 5-year period that nobody knows what happened, and I think there's a reason why he's probably keeping it a secret. Maybe something he's not proud of, or something that he doesn't want that hurt him, and he is like refusing to talk about.
He's avoiding it.
But I think when she like asks like, oh, did you date a girl who was like studying art, or when that guy comes back and gives a business card, I'm assuming that's that gap. And he is like shying away from like revealing anything about that time period. But I think the last few episodes, I think a lot of the conflict is going to come from like that stuff starting to come out, and him starting to like figure out how he's gonna like talk about his past.
And who has the money? Does he have the money or what?
Who won the lottery?
Somebody won the lottery.
But it doesn't seem like he won the lottery, because when she goes to buy the necklace, he said it was too expensive for him to buy, and that's why he built her the holder for it. Because she thought that he was upset. She bought a necklace that cost 5 million won. Right.
But was it too expensive for him to buy, or is he just like humble, like that's expensive?
Well, but the way he explains it to her when they were sitting under the lights that he put on the beach, he was like, I felt he was gonna buy it for her because she bought the clothes for him, but it was 5 million won, and he like slowly like put his wallet away, and then she thought that like it was like a turnoff for him that she was like so free with her money, but he said, no, that's not the case. I respect like you. I just felt bad that I couldn't buy it for you.
Interesting.
And so that's why he like made the thing. And it was funny, the whole dynamic of like her making a bucket list, and then they start to do it little by little, but he had also like started a bucket list on like the side. They show at the end of the episode, and like the first thing was like build her a gift I made by hand or whatever.
Yes.
So it seems like they talk about how they're like very different, but it seems like they're also very like alike.
Complementary.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are ways that they are alike, and I think like those are like important things.
Yes, like she really wants to brush her teeth with him.
Exactly.
And I liked all those moments where he's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is happening? What's
doing
going
like
on?
the couples yoga.
Right.
But
I like that she's just showing up at his house now. She's just going in his house
like,
without him home.
Exactly. Like
it almost got into her into trouble at one point.
But yeah, it seems like I honestly feel like the way that conflict has been like brought up in the show is like it's always just quickly resolved, and I
Yeah.
almost feel like that's going to be how it is throughout, and it's kind of just like a happy story, and like
Yep.
it's like a comedy. It's like
Yes.
a happy little like story with like a couple. Obviously, there's going to be tense moments in any.
You hope so.
thing.
Everything in balance, because these 2 episodes were super positive. I'm hoping we don't get 2 super dark episodes.
I just think we
next.
haven't seen anything like super dark. Like there obviously have been dark points, but
Yeah.
the episodes themselves always end.
Not an overarching dark storyline
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. It's just like happy and things are just going very well for them. So hopefully it stays that way.
We're rooting for them.
Exactly.
We love that. I think Judy's reaction when the whole town is reacting to them being a couple and she's like gagging, like throwing up, I thought that was the funniest.
She's like the viewer.
Yes, exactly.
She is like, all right, she's like the point of reality.
Yeah. I think that was a funny, like, genuine reaction from like a young kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Who like who knows them both, like Uncle Tushik, and like she sees Heejin, I think, as older sister.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
And also her friend, Heejin's friend, talking about how annoying they are.
Exactly. Oh, every time.
Which is a good segue into that couple is progressing.
Finally, she kind of got shut down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to shut her down.
No.
Unchol,
He's just old-fashioned.
Yeah, the
It's
police
slow.
officer. Little old-fashioned, little slow. But so he goes to the dentist and like kind of confesses, but like
He's like, oh, I just want a scaling.
yeah, exactly.
Casual scaling.
And then just with his mouth wide open, not enunciating his words,
Yeah.
just kind of like tells her like, oh, it's not that I don't like you. I just, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just want to get to know you
Take
little
things
by
slow.
little.
Yeah.
So she understands that, and it's funny how he proves, like, he says that he's a little slow, and he like I guess he understands that he doesn't have like the emotional or like the emotional intelligence.
Right.
Maybe some woman who's used to dating in Seoul.
Yeah.
So he's more like small town kind of guy. But it's funny when they go to buy the chicken or whatever, and the guy working on the truck is
Chicken guy's
like,
like,
he's like,
"Come on, bro."
man,
Yeah.
she likes you, dude.
Yeah.
Let's get with it. And he's like, oh, and he like gets down on one knee and he's like yelling. He's
Yes. And she's like, okay, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Too much. People are looking. Enough.
I thought that was a really like, you know, it was funny. It was a cute
Yeah.
scene. Like, and I like their whole dynamic. It seems like that. The thing is like that relationship is like going like super like progressing forward. It seemed kind of sad a couple episodes ago, but now it just seems like it's going to be very happy.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a bunch of like cringe, annoying couples. Like,
They're planting their roots in this town.
exactly.
I don't foresee them having to go, but unless
Yeah.
something pulls them away. But that's great. And of course, our our divorced couple are brought together by their son's math award.
Yeah.
He wins silver in the math award. It's a big deal.
Big deal.
Big deal. So they come together, have dinner. But slowly, we're starting to find out that there have been these kind gestures for the village chief that have been happening, and he doesn't know that it's actually been all orchestrated by his ex-wife.
Exactly. Yeah, she's like using one of his coworkers. Like, oh, bring this to him. Oh, bring this to him. But like,
And he has been
don't tell him
agonizing over, because they had that conversation about why they
why they got divorced,
And he was just dumb to think that it was because of a dumb reason, and
Yeah.
she's trying to say like it wasn't because of that.
yeah. But it's funny because it shows he goes to the cafe to talk to the cafe owner, the singer Oh Yoon, and they drink together. And he asked him a question like, could you still love your wife who had passed away
a long time
after
ago,
all these years? And he said, why do you have to keep asking me the same questions? And the village chief like doesn't remember. He's like, what do you mean? I asked you this before? And he's like, yeah, you asked me this a few years ago. And then he has like a flashback where he finally remembers about asking him. And he was like, oh, well, my marriage I just feel like, he's basically saying that he feels like his marriage was just like some sort of obligation.
Right.
And there was not, like, he doesn't love her. His love had moved away, and he ended up marrying a girl, his wife, because they were best friends, and her mother had passed away, and it was a bad time for her, and she needed support. But it turns out that his wife at the time had heard him say that from outside of the cafe. She had come to bring him an umbrella or pick him up or something.
Very hurtful.
Very hurtful, and that's when it cuts to the next morning, and she sees his sock, whatever, and she's probably not ready to say like, hey, I heard what you said last night.
Yeah,
So she
she's
just
like,
pretends that it's about something stupid.
Yeah.
And he just like believed that.
Yeah.
But then he kind of comes to that realization when he remembers that conversation, and he finally says like, it's all my fault. Like I'm such an idiot. So maybe there will be a little bit of development there, and we can get the three friends from the childhood all back together.
I thought it was funny when he and the director were both down bad in the restaurant, like just drinking soju all night, like getting drunk.
Yeah.
Like the two, it's funny because they like don't really know each other that well. I mean, they know each other from working in the town, but it's the two characters that are like the most down bad, like found their way together.
Exactly.
I thought that was very funny to bring them together that way.
And they are like they kind of were in like a similar situation at that point.
Yeah.
And they both went to this place to drink alone, and they ended up just meeting and like confiding, I guess, and complaining to each other about their situations. It was pretty funny. Yeah. So every scene with that village chief guy is just ridiculous. His character is just like So he's a lot.
Oh, and very important that Bora and Ijun, his little boy, got their hedgehog.
They took the hedgehog.
They got to bring the hedgehog home.
Their whole plan was once he got an award at the math competition, they were going to ask his mom if he could bring the hedgehog home. But I really like what his mom said to him. I don't think this has much to do with the show.
Yeah.
But when they were eating dinner, and he was like, "Oh, can I bring the hedgehog home?" And she was like, "Yes, you can bring the hedgehog home, but it's not because you won the math thing. It's because you wanted to. And we're not doing this the whole dinner because you won the math thing. We're doing it because you worked hard, and we would be doing this either way because we care about you." And and I think that it's just
we need the flash forward of those two when they're grown up.
Yeah, we need the college. We need like the flashback of like Heijin and the director in college. We need the flash forward of those two little kids in college.
Yes. We have an important thing going back to our leads. First of all, the crochet update, which we saw in Startup. But in Hometown Cha Cha Cha, our man Dushik crocheting for about 5 seconds. You blink and you miss it. But my mom wants everybody to know that.
Yeah, Nick's mom.
Yeah.
Big on the crocheting in the K-dramas.
In the K-dramas, yes. Yeah. And they finally tell each other about their like childhood memories that they had with each other.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which I didn't expect to just come out all at once.
Yeah.
But it was just like another one of those moments because everything is going so well and they're so in love and they both realize at the same time that she's the girl who gave him money and he's the boy who made her laugh.
Well, no, he made her laugh and he gave her money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, she gave him money for the milk.
No, he gave her money for
the milk. He gave her money for the milk?
Yes, he gave her money for the milk. He gave her 101.
Oh. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, peace and love. But they have these childhood memories. I think I like this as a theme in these K-dramas. I like that they crossed paths once in life.
This one is a little bit less intense than some of the other, some other ones. But I like that it's just like, because this is like reasonable. Like she went to Kongjin as a kid.
I think it is unreasonable to say that they would remember these moments.
Yeah, I think that if you are a little kid, right?
Well, for her it was a traumatic day, so maybe.
Yeah, and I think every time she goes to Kongjin, she's just going there to remember her mother.
Yeah.
So like for her, it's like when she went there as a kid, she was taking a picture of their family, probably a bad day, and this other kid made her smile, and then she has the picture there.
That's true.
And she has the picture. And like the moment when that picture was taken, there was just a kid there who she's smiling in the picture, and it was a bad day. So like, what made her happy that day? And she'll probably remember that. And then it's like she went to Kongjin again when she was like in high school, and like it's like I think if I was at a convenience store and I was like, oh my god, I can't afford this, and someone was like, oh here, take $1, I'd probably remember that. Be like, oh, thank you. Like, especially if you're having a bad, like, she probably only went to Kongjin when she was struggling with something.
Sure.
She was having a bad day. She wanted to remember, like, better times or, like, remember her mother. So I'm sure, like, those moments probably stick out in her mind a lot. She probably can remember every single time she went there.
Well, they're star-crossed lovers, that's for sure.
Star-crossed lovers, for sure.
And that's pretty much it. There wasn't, like, a ton of, like, action. I mean, there was a lot of humor, a lot of very funny moments, a lot of sweet moments.
But it was all just very good things happening. Everybody like vibes. Settling it was basically like a lot of like
things are coming to resolution.
Yeah, and like settling a lot of the things that we already knew to be true. Like like they're together now. She's not going to date the director. The director is okay with Dushik. They're going to continue being friends. I guess there's a couple of like their kind of relationships that are still up in the air, like the director and his writer, and then the divorced couple. But for like our main characters, like everything is kind of like it's like seems like it's flattening out.
Right.
But there will be more attention to come.
Yeah. Only time will tell.
As Dushik's past us to come out.
Yes, and we're going to be checking that out next week. So if you want to watch along with us, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss a future video. Like I said, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode of the K-Drama Club covering the next 2 episodes of Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. But for now, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And we're Nick and Joe.